So this next question is kind of two parts. So when telling your friends and family that you were getting divorced, what hurdles or common Christian pushback did you get? And so that's the first part. And then what can pastors and Christian leaders do to minimize shaming or traumatizing someone who's considering divorce?
It is so important that if someone tells you that they are being destroyed in a relationship in any way, shape, or form, that you believe them. I cannot tell you how many people questioned me and my choices. And by the time a person gets to the point where they're like, I'm going to divorce, they have already beat themselves up,
Mm-hmm.
down in every which way. And so they don't need that from other people. It's important that we trust people when they share their experience and not try to talk them out of it. When you look at the statistics on abuse and victimization, the percentage of people who lie about that is very, very small. So if you want to be a safe person for someone that's going through divorce, especially due to betrayal, one of the biggest gifts that you can give them is to believe them when they share their
Mm-hmm.
experience, to offer encouragement and compassion. My experience, my ex-husband um was beloved by my family. So it was also like they were experiencing the betrayal as well. And even as recently as last month, I had to talk to someone in my family about the way they were still romanticizing this person, how devastating that was to me and how invalidating it was to my
Mm-hmm.
experience to know that I literally had to pull myself up and my children up from the devastation to really try to build them back into whole people, and to hear a family member still, romanticizing who this person was. I pulled that person aside and said, please stop doing that. It is so hurtful to me. And, I get it. It's like it's a shock when you've done life. I mean, we had been together for almost 25 years.
Wow.
So, just as it was a shock to me to recognize this person was living a double life, it was a shock to my family. And so, I have grace for them, but I also have to set boundaries to say, enough is enough. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot listen to you invalidate what I'm telling you. So, if you are a family member of a person, I just say believe them. And then for church leaders, I had two different church experiences, which I love that God did this for me. So in one sense, I was in one church and they didn't know what to do with me. When I said I couldn't hold my husband's hand, or wanted to go on a date with him, they just really couldn't understand that. So then I went to another church that they felt was better equipped to help me. And they basically called me the abuser because
Ah,
I was setting boundaries and putting my foot down and saying, this isn't acceptable. And I was not mincing my words about what was happening.
oh
And
no.
so they told me that I was the abusive one. And when I tell you, like, I could probably still cry about that today, because I was so vulnerable. I was hurting so badly that I wanted somebody to say, this is not right, that it's
Mm-hmm.
not happening to you. And I thought that my church would be the place to do that.
It's so
So
sad.
then contrast that with another church that I was just friends with these pastors. I didn't even go to this church yet, but they were walking alongside me with what was happening. And when I sat down with them and another set of pastors, and I said, am I making the right choice? Can I do anything else? Both of them, two pastors, said to me, if we looked up patience in the Bible, your picture would be there.
Oh.
You do not need to sacrifice any more of yourself for this person who is devaluing and disrespecting and degrading you. What you need to do is take care of you and your children. And they literally scooped us up. They helped us find a place to live. They helped us move. They
Wow.
provided for me when I couldn't buy Christmas gifts for my kids. And I wish that more churches would just be willing to believe partners when they say, I've got to get out.
Yeah.
Nobody is running to the divorce court. No one is excited of,
Mhm.
yes, let me be a single mom and struggle to raise these children and
Mhm.
provide financially and rebuild myself. Yes, please give me that. No, when you look at the research, most partners want the family.
Yeah.
So when they get to the point where they say, I can't do this, believe them, support them, ask what you can do to encourage them, uplift them, remind them that they are still a whole person, that God has a plan for their lives, and that there can be beauty. You know, God's redemption is not just
Mhm.
through the restoration of the marriage, it is the restoration of the individual.
Mhm.
So even if the marriage survives, but like I said, the people in the marriage are destroyed, that's not God's best. Jesus came that we might have life and have it in
Yeah.
abundance, be whole. When the Bible talks about, do you want to be made well? It is about wholeness. So if I cannot be my whole self in a relationship, then that is not a place I want to be. And as a church, we need to not encourage people to divorce, but if a person gets to that point where they feel that that's where God is leading them, that we can come alongside them and help make that transition easier for them because divorce is hard.
Have been through it, and it is hard, and it's like you said, you're already in your deepest place of feeling like a failure maybe and beating yourself up, and or maybe even, for me, it was like, well, I chose badly in the first place because I went against what I knew I should have. There's just so many things that you wrestle with.